Welcome, business owners, to this episode of our show, AgencyAMG TV. On this one, I invite Sunflower Kate Florals to the show, and we sat down for about 30-40 minutes to talk about everything that she has going on. So she has an amazing story, an amazing start, and a fantastic work ethic. So it was perfect to have her on and talk about everything she has going on, how she got to where she is now, and then what's coming down the line in the future. Some of the takeaways that I got from talking with her was how important it was to have a support structure when you're just getting started, because you might just start your business at your dining room table, or you might have the ability to do like a co-working space or something like that. So she started out just at her dining room table. She has experience from all across the industry. So she's done everything from scrubbing the floors, taking care of the plants, nothing super glorious or fancy. She worked her way up. She also had some great mentors. She had a great support system, and she just kept working and working and working. And so she's got some really, really great advice for anyone who's interested in starting their own business, pursuing their passion, or getting into flower arrangements and doing that sort of a thing for weddings and whatnot. She's got some great advice at the end of this. So check it out. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Welcome to the show here. So let's jump in and talk about a little bit about you. Where are you from?
I'm from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been in Columbus?
I moved here in 2012 after school. So I went to school in Bowling Green. Mm-hmm. I took an extra year, studied abroad, did the thing. Met my husband here in 2014. And my goal was essentially, after school, I studied international studies in French, and I wanted to go abroad and not live here, and live in France and work to teach. When I moved from Bowling Green, after college, mm-hmm. I did AmeriCorps. So I worked with students in schools in a lot of poverty areas here in Columbus that a lot of people, if you don't point it out, are kind of turning a blind eye to. So my background really is in service. When I moved, I did AmeriCorps for 2 years, and then I ended up teaching at a charter school. Loved it. But I love the kids, not necessarily how the charter school was ran, and it wasn't my first love. My first love was serving others, doing beautification projects, and I was always in the garden. So, talking with my husband, it was like, what's your dream? Because he's doing his medical career, and he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh no, shit, So I was like, I need to start somewhere in the floral industry. And I worked with dozens of shops here in Columbus, got my feet on the ground, started from sweeping the floors, taking out the trash, deliveries, customer service, all the way till wedding coordinator. And then I was like, I'm not necessarily thrilled at how this is running here. And then I bounced around, and I was like, I'm just going to do it.
So what ultimately gave you the confidence to step out and go, okay, I'm done working I'm going to go do my own thing?
Well, I had clients that I worked with another company, and they were like, hey, are you still doing floral? And I was like, no, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing, so I'm not teaching anymore. I'm not, just working on my garden at home. And they were like, no, you really need to. And I actually found a lot of women in the community as I teach yoga, and I'm involved with a couple of my friends are within big lots, like corporation, like these boss babes, were like, Katie, you got a talent. I don't know, why you're not doing it on your own. Let's go. And they really pushed me, these, strong women in the community. And I was like, shit, I really need to think about this. And then, with not assistance, what's the word? With
Was it kind of like more like mentorship or like?
Well, I was going to say, like, for my husband, with his encouragement,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess, encouragement for my husband, he was like, Katie, like, people love you. You have a knack for, you know, you're a people person, but you also have this talent that not necessarily with floral design. I see a lot of, like, the Instagram, you know, you pick some flowers, put it in a vase, and it's a floral arrangement. With me, I come from a wedding background, so it's a lot of design elements deep rooted in old school techniques with new things I've learned, picked up from other designers, and I put that into my daily arrangements. So I want my customers, my clients to get beautiful, elegant arrangements like you would see at a wedding day to day. Like, it doesn't have to be like the carnations you see at Kroger, like mixed with greenery, and then that's, you know, $60. It's like, what happened to the floral industry where there's two different, you know, it's like the beautiful wedding stuff. Why can't you have that for the daily?
Right.
So with the Boss Babes and my husband's encouragement, I started designing at my dining room table. And I did, I set up my website through Squarespace, which is super easy to use. Finally pulled the, got the courage to become an LLC. Got my bank account, got subscriptions coming in, clients kept referring me, and it's really based on referrals. And then people knowing that my product lasts for a long time and they can depend upon my delivery and service.
Yeah, so it's kind of like rolls into the next kind of question with the Squarespace and getting all the referrals. Are there any marketing kind of strategies like hashtag campaigns or email marketing that you found super helpful or that stand out to you through this process?
So hashtags are huge. It's so funny. It's like, you know, you can post a picture or a video and it gets like 4 likes and 4 views, whatever. And then you do hashtag, you know, Columbus Florist, hashtag floristry, and then people from all over the country and the world notice. And then, you know, obviously in Columbus and with Instagram, you can just target certain, you know, areas, which has helped me tremendously. The majority of my business has come from Instagram marketing and Google listing and friend referral. And I say too on my checkout screen, I'm like, how did you hear about us? Which has helped.
Gotcha. Some of the stuff on the website, there's some awesome floral arrangements, but then there's just some like succulent type stuff and just regular plants. Do you get a lot of that? And
so my website started with like 3 arrangements that I decided I wanted to put out there as my brand. And then I started getting inquiries like, hey, do you do planters? Do you do plants? Can you come over and help me with this thing that's dead? You know, like, I need help. So things that you see on there are actual things that I created for a client. And that was the beginning. And so I added it then to my website. Mother's Day, a lot of people ask for plants and planters instead of flowers. So I thought, well, it's more than 2 people that are interested in this, so might as well add it.
Gotcha. So how have things been going with the COVID-19 stuff? Was that good for business, bad for business? Just unfortunate all the way around?
Very unfortunate for the whole wedding and floral industry. I mean, you see photos and videos of flowers in Holland and South America just like tossed because they know that no one's going to buy them at the beginning of the pandemic. And it was heartbreaking. I think a win for businesses that were kind of underground like me, there was no overhead, there was no rent to be paid, and if you had the means, you could continue to market whatever. That being said, the wedding professionals, a lot of my friends that did a lot of luxury weddings or arrangements, you know, people were postponing. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I think one cool thing that I guess has come out of it is like the floral community. We're kind of tight knit. There's florists that just want to be by themselves and not really associate with others. And then there's others that are like, how can I lift you up? How can I help you? Like, can I help you set up? And then the way in which freelancers have become such a big deal with COVID and just in general in the floral industry, I think is huge. Like I will contact my friend that I worked with, who's another florist here in Columbus, and we'll work together on a project.
Oh, gotcha.
Socially distanced. But I think that's an impact. And a lot of couples are terrified, and they're doing more elopements and more small gatherings. And I just think that the floral industry has been such a way for so long that now we have to think of outside of the box. It has, like, people were like, they were comparing it to other catastrophes. Like, this is completely something we've never dealt with before. And so we're all like, oh my God, how am I going to get paid and live, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we've done a pretty good job at using social media and marketing at a distance to our advantage.
Yeah, because I see you do a lot of deliveries.
Yes.
So just drop them off at the door. And
It's no contact, so I'll ding dong. A lot of rings out there. I'm on a lot of like the ring cameras. And then I will, with Squarespace, I send a confirmation email that it's been delivered to the sender, but I also, I ask for a recipient number so I can text them from my business number and say, hey, you got a delivery.
Gotcha.
Or I'll knock and walk away and be like, yeah.
Awesome. The other thing that I see on here we should talk about is these workshops that you do.
Yes.
What can people expect to work? I mean, how did these even come to be as part of your monthly kind of engagement with people?
So people can sign up. I provide all the product, the vase, the tape, everything that you need. And sometimes it's BYOB. We just have fun. I provide all the tools. And I separate everything out, and it's usually a theme. It's like summer flowers. We're planning to do one in the fall, fall florals, and we go step by step. And it's usually about a couple hours long. And then they get to take home a beautiful arrangement that they've created, and it's usually a lot of premium flowers with different types of greenery.
Gotcha.
And we take a group photo, and then at the end, everybody's is different, and it's cool.
Oh, very cool.
Nice to get out of the house and be distant while doing something creative for your home.
How long do those arrangements last?
Yeah, so I always say 7 days. Within the 7 days, if something goes wrong, contact me and then I'll send you out a free arrangement.
Oh, gotcha.
That's usually
Very cool.
But I've had people review and be like, wow, they've lasted 2 weeks. I'm like, how? But okay,
You're like, of course they did.
Yes.
Typical.
And sometimes, they'll send me pictures and they're like, wow, this is done great. I'm like, okay. But certain flowers are hardier than others, and I tend to choose more hardy flowers.
Gotcha.
And if somebody orders something that's a little temperamental, like hydrangeas, they will freeze below 35, 40 degrees, and they'll fry above 75. So not a lot of people think about that. Mother's Day was really cold this year. Was it Mother's Day or maybe Valentine's Day? Around that time, people took their hydrangeas out and they just died. And it's a part of you got to cover it up. You got to preserve it and take care of it.
So I want to ask about these subscriptions on the website, and I see on the Instagram. I feel like there's so many different industries where people don't think of ways to do subscription-based kind of service. How did you come up with these subscription models for yours?
Yeah. So I had a few ladies contact me after a floral workshop in Bexley, and they were like, hey, I actually did a floral subscription through like 1-800-Flowers or some other that wasn't in Columbus. I really want to support someone local and have your style. I have a certain style that people that like that gravitate toward, and so we started with monthly, and then clearly I set them up to try to get them to have it as long as possible. I have a care card that I give to every one of my clients that says steps and how to make it long lasting, which I think goes back to what you were saying. But then people were like, no, I want it weekly. And then I just added it to my website. And it was really like people asking me.
Yeah.
And I let people kind of dictate. I had an idea of where I wanted my business to go.
Right.
But it's about them.
Right.
Like
let,
I serve
let the market
others.
kind of determine
Yeah.
what.
I let the market determine it, and that's really how I built my website and my subscriptions. I have clients that are businesses and like condo complexes that they want something nice in their front entry, and we do it weekly or bi-weekly.
Gotcha.
And on Squarespace, it's really nice because it's just automatic. So bi-weekly, it just comes out automatically.
Gotcha. So what you mean is that it actually bills them
Yes.
automatically. Gotcha.
And you can choose on there as the client what you want to do.
Gotcha.
So you're not kind of locked in. You can always cancel.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, I was going to ask what other software type things you use besides Squarespace that you found useful to manage all this stuff. Is it Squarespace and some spreadsheets? Is it pen and paper?
Pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Also MailChimp with all my subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome. Just to handcraft an email, blast it out, save a template, change it, blast it out, especially with discounts and promos going on. But I'm pretty old school. I mean, I love Squarespace because you can download certain Excel from within. But when I design a proposal in a wedding for a client, it's all pen and paper.
Gotcha.
Which it could be like not the most efficient time-wise, but for me, it's better at catching mistakes within
Gotcha.
Excel.
Yeah, and I also see there's a lot of different social media platforms that you're using. How do you do you have a social media calendar that you use that you kind of pick where you're going to post? And then how did you know that you wanted to do Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram? Are they just the most graphically centric platforms, or why did those three speak to you?
To be honest, within MailChimp, those are the three that you can cross-post with.
Okay.
That's super nice. Instagram and Facebook are linked through Facebook Business. Super easy to use there. With Pinterest, I love Pinterest because a lot of my couples, brides, grooms, send me pictures from Pinterest, and then I create a proposal based on those photos.
Ah, gotcha.
Yes. So putting my own stuff into Pinterest, having it repinned, having it out, promotional out there. People are very visual. And when it comes to photography and lighting, I have to kind of guide people into the right flowers that they need for that look, because it depends on the florist, the flowers, and your photographer to get one cohesive look.
Gotcha.
And Pinterest helps.
Perfect. So do people look at your pins for inspiration as well? Do you ever kind of use those like, hey, are you thinking something like this? Like you just kind of use that in the conversation?
Yes.
Gotcha.
For style, texture, colors, especially if someone says two contrasting ideas, like I want rustic but also modern. It's like, okay, so here's a rustic bouquet, here's modern. What do you like better?
Right. What's the most like the oddest request you've ever gotten from a client for an arrangement? Like, do they want fish in the bowl? Do they want all black flowers? Do they want what's the oddest?
I've heard those, definitely. Black, I mean, they're sprayed and they're not going to last. To carve out a pineapple.
Okay.
And to do a tropical arrangement for, say, like a baby shower or a bridal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, which it starts to rot and
Sure.
It's, not easy to line. And that is like, if anybody ever asks you to carve out a pineapple or a pumpkin, another one is pumpkins, okay? Charge like $1,000 for labor because that is just intense. And usually you can buy stuff ceramic that look like that.
Gotcha.
Or you can guide them into, hey, if you really like that look of tropical, I can do it in a different way with floral things that I can get.
Gotcha. Without carving up the fruit to use as a vase.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Pumpkins for sure, I get a lot.
I feel like it's worth doing a couple times a year just to call up as a practical joke and say, hey, can you carve out this old rotten barrel and turn it into
Yeah.
So talk to us about what fun new things you have coming down the line. What's right around the corner? So we got COVID's kind of going through a couple of humps, and towards the end of the year, like when's your busy season? Do you have with the extra downtime, you got some interesting fun things coming down the line?
A lot of fall weddings.
Right.
Workshops. I'm working on every season. I like to update my website. So I like to update it with current flowers in season. People like new things. They like to try, different things. Christmas, the holidays, huge for centerpieces.
Gotcha. So it sounds like the flowers are of course, seasonal indeed, but it sounds like it's almost an all year round kind of a thing. There's always something.
I would say a lull is winter, like January, but then February is Valentine's Day, Mother's Day in May, June, that's the thing with COVID, is like April through August, September used to be like the huge wedding season for florists.
Yeah.
Now, this year, it's like shifted. And a lot of brides, couples, grooms have moved their weddings to next year in hopes that they could obtain those dates that aren't taken yet.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, it's like a hot mess.
Oh wow, yeah. I can't imagine. With all some of the dates you just mentioned, so we got Mother's Day and Valentine's Day and Christmas. Is there ever been a need for someone who wants to just come to you and say, hey, I've got 5 or 6 dates throughout the year that I just always want flowers. I don't want to have to call. This is my style. I just want them delivered 6 times a year. Has that ever been like as a service kind of model?
Pretty much anything that's not listed on my website, I encourage them to email me and we'll have a conversation.
Oh, gotcha.
I do work with a business where I make an invoice per month, list out all the arrangements, and then we work out payment per month.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty flexible. And again, like the idea of the planters, I thought about it, but I didn't have something visually, a picture or anything to put on my website. People created that and brought it to me, and now it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really open to anything. I also have done in the past planters, holiday decor, anything decorative with florals or plants. I do.
Very cool. What have you ever tried? Have there ever been any partnerships with other businesses to do joint efforts with another, somewhat related to flowers, or maybe not? Maybe a food pairing or something like that, where, and I'll just make up a random example. So anytime someone orders a meatball sandwich, they also get something like that. So I'm thinking of like chocolate or with just other things like that. Have there ever been any attempts at a joint venture like that?
Yes. So I've partnered with a few bloggers, people in the community here in Columbus that do giveaways. So I've done a lot of giveaways with bloggers. It's the whole follow, repost, and then you could win this thing.
Yeah.
I've also partnered with Black Space Columbus as an ally to BIPOC and to LGBTQ. So giving away flower arrangements to Black-owned businesses too, in promotion of that Black-owned business. That's something I'm working on now, is really partnering with disenfranchised areas of the community.
I feel like that's a common theme with your background. It just kind of speaks to you.
Yes, and I think that what sets me apart from other florists is my background in service, my background in representing people that don't necessarily have the biggest voice in our communities.
Right.
And I can do that with flowers and my presence on social media. I think it's really important.
Yeah, and I think with, we had recently some protests and everything come through here,
Yeah.
so that people could actually at least feel like they're being heard. And regardless if they were heard, we actually did end up with a lot of amazing graffiti kind of artwork all over the city.
Yeah.
I wonder, almost as a project, it might be kind of interesting if you had the right multimedia support to take one of these murals that was painted that meant something to someone enough to spend dozens of hours on it and create a color-matched floral arrangement for that mural in kind of a dedication kind of a thing.
So I must say, I do have floral friends in the community that did that.
Did they? Okay.
Yes. And I don't want to steal their idea because y'all know who you are and I love you. Yeah, for sure. And I believe that you believe and the things that you spend your money on matters. Mm-hmm. And when people work with me, that's, wholeheartedly, they support what I support.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to lie, I've had some unfollowers because I've been so
vocal,
but I do feel as if I have a slight elevated, social media presence. I need to it's my duty to just, be passionate about things that need to be changed.
Any other closing thoughts on anything you got going on? Any advice? I mean, if somebody wanted to get started doing their own kind of floral arrangements, what's maybe like one thing that, like, takeaway, what's something you've learned in the past few years with this that you could pass on to them?
Okay, so two-parter. What if you are interested in getting into flowers? I highly recommend starting from the ground up. I see a lot of these people that want to be florists to own their own business, but they don't sweep the floors, they don't clean the buckets, they don't do deliveries. Do it all. You have to do it all because you never know what's going to come up, and you have to have an intense work ethic to be a florist. It's on the grind. You're sweating. It's not pretty. Okay, what's pretty is what you deliver, and it needs to be pretty when it arrives. Right? You need to do everything for your client because they're number one. It's not always about you, and it's not always about just playing with flowers because you think it's fun. It can be.
There's literal dirt involved.
It's it's a very detail-oriented, hard-working, blood, sweat, tears business. Up late hours. So if you're down for it, cool. I highly recommend going to the Michigan Floral Association, learning from top-tier florists. I highly recommend seeking out and learning from everybody that you can. Because
just absorbing everything.
Just absorbing it and being grateful and not thinking that you know it all. Because you can always learn.
Right.
I'm still learning. The other part of that two-part, what I have going on, floral workshops. I am the preferred florist at the Blue Spot event space in Bexley. Mm-hmm. I am hoping to be a preferred florist for a few venues that I'm working with, like View Columbus, Strongwater, even though they've got some killer florists there that I look up to. Workshops. I highly recommend to sign up for my emails because I release promos and certain things that only go out through email. And then it's up to that person to share. But my clients they have been there since day one. They're amazing, and so we communicate a lot through email. If you have an idea, whether it's, I want to get a huge arrangement for my wife because it's our 50th anniversary, wow, right? Or just something simple like I have a little get-together with friends, socially distanced, email me because I'm very good at checking emails. I prefer email over DM on Instagram because they can get lost.
Gotcha.
emails, sign up for emails for promos, workshops, events, ideas. If you want to partner with me, I'm always down.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right. And we're out. All right, business owners. Well, that wraps up this episode here with Agency AMG. I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes look at this small business here in Columbus. If you're a restaurant in the area with a story to tell, I'd love to swing by and help you tell the world.